So let's talk about your passions then. Why did you get an emergency management, and what's kind of fueling you now? What are you working on?
So basically, my dad's a firefighter. My stepdad was a police off was a retired police officer, and I always had the want to actually be in fire at first,
Hmm.
and then September 11th happened, and I wanted to help people, um, and as I was getting my degree in emergency management, I took a class in terrorism, and it was a summer class, and we had an FBI agent, sit there and tell us, uh, okay, so one thing that we know is our enemy number one is Osama bin Laden, and it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when, and he's going to do something, and that's our big problem is trying to figure out how to stop someone like that. And I remember that resonating with me. That was a class that took place in July. That was July 2001. Two
Whoa.
months later, 2 months later, the World Trade Center happened, and I woke up to it. And being in emergency management, knowing I wanted to do fire, it was basically like, okay, I'm going to call Region Six because Denton is, where I went to school in North Texas, and
Hmm.
that's where Region Six is. So I was like, do y'all need any help? And they're like, could you come in and answer phones? And I'm like, yeah, that's a great thing to do. And then so I got really immersed into emergency management at that point. And when I got to Florida, I was my first job. I had never even been to Florida before. Like I'd never been to Disney World growing up, So I go out and interview for this job, and I get it. And I'm the emergency management coordinator, and I'm 23 years old,
Mm.
and I'm still young and probably a little too cocky, and headstrong. And I get out there, and I remember there was this high wind, and it came through, and we didn't know if it was a tornado or not. And so I went out there, and there was it was a rural county, and I just remember seeing this mobile home pretty much destroyed, and seeing this couple, having to deal with that. And they had their granddaughter with her, and she was like, she had like a wet, flooded Barbie doll, and she was trying to comb the water out of it. And I was like, well, this is my calling. I mean, it resonated with me so much that there's somebody out there that's trying to make a life, make a living for themselves. And
Mm.
then something like that can happen and just take something from them that they never expected. And that's always stayed inside of me. Anytime I forget about the difference we make, because sometimes we don't see the difference we make in emergency management.
Mm.
Uh, we're not pulling people out of houses, but with a pin we might be saving thousands of lives, but we don't know. It's important to go back and see that. Remember what you see when you see people, and that's why I'm in the field. I'm in the field to help people.